All right, so I guess Ramon, we'll start with you. First question is going to be, development has exceeded infrastructure capacity and extraordinary funding is needed beyond what the county can provide. If elected, what legislation would you work on to help West Maui receive more equitable allocations of funding?
Fantastic. Good evening, folks. Thank you all for coming to this event. Big mahalo to everyone for participating. It's so important that we pay attention to what's happening with our elected officials in office. My name is Ramon Kataichi Madden. I'm a People's Grassroots candidate to represent West Maui. I consider myself a champion of West Maui. Now, I love West Maui, and what we've seen over the course of the last 30 years is that our infrastructure is very overcapacity and underfunded. To solve that problem, we need to look at the way that the money is allocated on a statewide level. We need to look at home rule solutions to bypass the blocks that we've been experiencing as far as funding goes. Now, the way that that works is that the money should be allocated to fix the problems that we really need and focused on, at the time when they decided that they would build Kaanapali, they created the transient accommodation tax. Now what that meant was that the money from each of the hotel rooms was supposed to go to fix the area that was being affected by the overdevelopment or the development itself. Now what's happened is we've strayed farther and farther away from that, and I think that we need to bring it back to the purpose of the transient accommodation tax. Thank you, and create real solutions now.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. First off, aloha West Maui, thank you for being here tonight. And you know, you're right, the challenges are great, and that's why I ran for office in 2006, to make sure that we do get our fair share of the pie here in West Maui. During that 4-year period, the 10th district has received about over $100 million for infrastructure. Lahaina Bypass 1C, 1A, 1B1, and 1B2. Lahaina Harbor, the design from all the work. We've got to get the construction money next, but the design is done. Ma'alaya Harbor, which is going to kick off next year. And you know, I mean, Duke and I do disagree on issues, but you know what? Duke has been a partner with Linda in helping us make sure that the funding of the legislature gets executed. So we are moving forward, but we definitely need more resources that's available. The two places for us to look are to our federal delegation for additional federal monies, or to the Highway Modernization Plan, which was a plan that both the DOT and the legislature supported to bring additional resources here to finish these projects quickly. Thank you.
So you said I have 60 seconds to rebuttal that? Okay, very good. Well, folks, the problem that we're experiencing right now in West Maui is, again, our infrastructure is still over capacity and underfunded. Now, we've brought all kinds of money in from Oahu that's been handed down to us. We didn't have to fight for that money. That was pre-allocated, okay? Now, when they pass it down, we don't get to decide where the money goes. So now we're dealing with a situation where we're bringing in $1 billion, and we don't get to decide where that money goes. So meanwhile, we're spending a lot of money on this bypass, which is fantastic. But we're not spending money on, meanwhile, our sidewalks need repair, and we can't even get the boat out of the Lahaina Harbor because we don't have funding for it. So I mean, we need to take a look at not just the amount of money that we're getting, but where it's going, and to have more local control over significant government actions. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, the reality is that, you know, a lot of these things aren't as, you know, simple as that. First of all, is the money is not decided by Honolulu. Honolulu does not give us crumbs. The budget is formulated in the House of Representatives. We decide in consultation with the agencies and their executive summary requests what projects are going to be funded and which aren't. It's through the legislative process that we secure monies for these projects. It's not doled out by Honolulu. It's because of the work of your Maui delegation that we go out in conjunction with the administration to secure these funds. These sources of funds are particular for each infrastructure project. Highways is special highway fund. Harbors is general fund. The TAT, the main focus of TAT is to market Maui. Yes, Ramon, you're right. More marketing needs to be done for Maui. I agree with you. We really got to get tough with the HTA on marketing Maui more, but the primary purpose of the TAP is to go ahead and market. The money for the counties is to offset the impact of the visitor and to make it a more attractive visitor destination. That's why I fought for all of you and for Maui County Sheriff, the T-18, and stop the state of Hawaii from taking it away from all of us.
Okay, question number 2, we'll start off with Angus. Angus, the Lahaina bypass has been a huge priority for our community for several decades. While we are happy that the first 2 phases are under construction, we are concerned that only half of the project is being built. What can you do if elected to ensure completion of the project?
Thank you very much, Seek. Well, the things we need to do is we got to keep on the time track that we've developed with the administration. I'm hoping that if Mr. Iona is elected governor, that he will make that traffic emergency zone declaration for the west side, which would allow us to only do federal permitting, as well as use the Kane Hall roads and improve them temporarily for bypass traffic conditions. The other thing we need to do is we need to continue to make sure that the construction monies for 1C from Kiawe Street to Kanapali are secured, and we also need to make sure that 1B2 gets back on track. The Department of Transportation has pushed the funds from that because the environmental impact statement is being redone by a private entity, which will give us longer road length. It won't end at Laniapoka, it'll go all the way out to Ukamahami. And the second thing is that this will allow the private sector to help us contribute. But you know what, we definitely need more resources, and my only commitment to you is to continue to work just as aggressively and hard as I have the last 4 years to keep this going, because we're 30 years overdue.
Like my opponent, Mr. McKelvey here said, we are 30 years overdue. And the question seems to be more and more is, what decisions do we really have over where this money goes? Now, the Lahaina bypass was a community-decided project, and it's something that the community gets behind. So we as legislators have to support that. But my real question is why would we start on a project that we can't afford to finish? Why would we spend millions and millions of dollars on something that has no approval at the end? This is dependent on the Highway Road and Modernization Act, people. This Highway Road and Modernization Act is going to increase taxes, fees, rules, and regulations. You know, where are they going to get the money from? The money is coming from you. We already pay 52 cents per gallon of gas at the pump. That's more than anywhere, almost anywhere in the nation, and definitely more than anywhere in the state of Hawaii, here in Maui. My question is can we afford to pay more instead of cutting back and taking a look at our budget and finding creative ways to get that money that we need now? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. You know, the thing is, you don't start something and then stop. You don't build bridges to nowhere. We've started on the Lahaina bypass, and we have to see this through, because it is about the quality of life and trying to ease the congestion, and also it's a public safety issue. Lahaina Luna Road, without that bridge, has only one access in and out. God help us if there's a fire up there with 3 schools. This is a central project. And yes, the highway modernization, it was a cooperative effort. It does rely on, you know, fees, but 80% of those fees are going to be generated from Honolulu. The #1 project on the modernization plan is the Lahaina bypass. So, you know, I mean, if you look at revenue, things like this, what is the net gain for the residents of Maui? What is net gain for you in the community? And I believe that, you know, I'm not going to come here and say we can do all this stuff and not raise revenue. You have to raise revenue. We do need to cut. We do need to be responsible. We have to raise revenue. I thought it was a good plan that will allow us to finish our roads without having to look at other alternatives like toll roads, which I think would be terrible for this community. Thank you very much.
Ramon, you can have another minute if you want it.
Oh, absolutely. You guys, the state of Hawaii is in a state of emergency. We have a budget shortfall 2 years in a row. You know, in the Constitution says that we must have a balanced budget. Yet the legislature continues to look at ways to raise taxes to balance the budget instead of cutting back. The Highway Road and Modernization Act is a $4 billion project. Now, where is that money coming from? It's going to come from future tax increases. They try to make you think that you're not going to have to pay for it until the economy improves. Well, guess what? The economy is so low right now, it only has to improve a couple of percentage points before they can activate this new tax plan. And that tax is coming from your pockets, folks, make no mistake. If you had $4 billion, would you spend it all on building this massive 6-lane road? I think not. I think you would use the money right away to fix the problem now. We can't wait another 20 years because of the safety concerns. What if there was a fire on Lahaina Luna? You know, we have the money to fix the road now. Let's fix it and worry about expanding it later. Don't get mad at First State House.